Well, I was a little pissed about a couple things. I had some opportunity to really come back in the music business with the best.
Is he controlling? Yes, he is. Will he put his hands on a female? Yes, he will. Would he put his hands on a male producer or anything? Yes, he will.
Diddy allegedly told a lawyer, "I'll do whatever I want to do in my building. It's the power, see?" Jaguar narrated that Diddy further claimed, "If I could make a man my D, I could make people do anything for money." Mark Wahlberg has broken the silence about working in Hollywood and spilled all the beans about his experience and what he had to go through in the industry. Mark is allegedly calling out celebrities who are doing sinister acts in Hollywood, and one of them happens to be the music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. For many years, there has been rumored beef between the two of them, and many fans have been curious why that is so. People have been buzzing about this for a while, but we might finally get some answers. He's been super tight-lipped about the whole situation, dodging questions in interviews and staying quiet on social media. His silence only made everyone more curious. What could he be hiding? Was it really that serious? What actually happened between them? There's a long, messy history here. Mark and Diddy used to be super close. They were like best buds, always spotted together at parties and events. They even worked together for a bit, with Mark popping up in some of Diddy's music videos and Diddy making a cameo in one of Mark's movies. When celebs get into drama, they usually can't wait to blast it all over social media. But not Mark. He's kept completely quiet. No tweets, no interviews, no shady Instagram posts. It's like he's trying to act like nothing ever happened. Mark Wahlberg, better known as Marky Mark, is rumored to have left the rap game because of Diddy. Yep, that's right. The official story says Marky Mark wanted to be a rapper but switched to acting when his music career didn't take off. But the unofficial story? He quit because of Diddy and what he saw in the hip-hop industry. Insiders say that the wild parties at Diddy's place and in studios across the country made Mark step away from music and focus on movies. Mark hasn't confirmed this though, especially since he's planning a rap comeback and doesn't want to upset any future record labels. Initially, Mark wanted to follow in his older brother Donnie Wahlberg's footsteps. Donnie was a founding member of the boy band New Kids on the Block. Mark was even in the original band but left to chase his passion for rap. In 1991, he formed Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch with his friends Hector the Inspector, Ashley Ace, and DJ T. Their debut project, Music for the People, included the hit single Good Vibrations, which fans loved. They also scored with Wild Side, which peaked at number 5 on the Billboard Hot Singles sales chart and went gold.
Anytime, like if they see the picture with me in the underwear, oh my God, they'd be so embarrassed. He gets embarrassed by everything that I do. Even the stuff that other people think is like cool in 2022.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch hit a rough patch. When they couldn't keep up their momentum from their early success, things took a turn for the worse in 1992 when Mark Wahlberg backed Shabba Ranks' controversial comments about gay people, causing major outrage. The LGBTQ+ community called for his cancellation, demanding that brands drop him and fans boycott his music. The backlash was so severe that Mark ended up relocating to Germany to revive his career. In Germany, he signed with East West Records and collaborated with a late reggae artist Prince Ital Joe. This partnership gave his music a fresh start, and the track United became a hit, topping several local charts and earning praise from fans and critics alike. Mark and Prince Ital Joe followed up with another project, the Remix album, in 1995 under Ultronic Records. However, Mark's label wanted him to adopt a tougher image like Eminem and dive into gangster rap. But Mark, who had served time in jail for attacking Johnny Trin, a Vietnamese American veteran, wanted to make music that inspired his fans and brought people together. The label, however, insisted on a gritty, controversial persona. Mark believed he could have been more successful if the label had supported his vision for positive and unifying music. In an interview, Mark said, "I think I could have been a lot more successful had I been allowed to do what I wanted to do. I think the record company had one specific idea and they wanted to go for that." Wahlberg said he initially went along with the labels because his brother Donnie was successful and he was broke at the time. He said, "I had just gotten out of jail and I wanted to make a record. I saw my brother making millions of dollars and I'm still struggling, so I kind of compromised a little bit." However, Mark then decided not to sign with another label and opted to step back from the contract. He had seen a lot of shady things in the music industry and wanted no part of it. He experienced firsthand the East Coast-West Coast rivalry that resulted in the deaths of rappers like Tupac and Biggie Smalls. Witnessing how figures like Diddy negatively impacted lives in the industry, Mark sought a fresh start. Mark and Diddy's paths crossed around 2013, when they teamed up to launch a successful high-performance alkaline water business. Despite their later partnership, there are rumors they might have met earlier when Mark was trying to reboot his music career after leaving leaving East West Records. He had hoped signing with Bad Boy Records, owned by Diddy, would give him a positive new beginning. There are various stories circulating about why Mark didn't end up with Bad Boy. One rumor suggests Diddy asked for something unconventional, like receiving special favors. It sounds outrageous and could be hearsay, but who really knows? Singer Jaguar Wright claimed a few years ago that Diddy engaged in such behavior with aspiring artists seeking his support. She even shared a story about a lawyer who quit Bad Boy after walking in on Diddy and singer Christopher Williams in a compromising situation in Diddy's office. When the lawyer asked why the door wasn't locked, Diddy allegedly told the lawyer, "I'll do whatever I want to do in my building. It's the power, see?" Jaguar narrated that Diddy further claimed, "If I could make a man my D, I could make people do anything for money." Jaguar said, "You know she was gonna be head of legal at Bad Boy Entertainment and be a female, like that was a big deal, until she accidentally walked in on her boss's office and caught him getting head from a movie star, which he said was done for nothing more than an exercise of power." R&B singer Chris Brown seemed to agree with Jaguar Wright when he mentioned Diddy turned him down because he didn't dance. Initially, fans thought Chris meant his literal dancing skills, which he's known for, but some believe Chris meant he didn't meet Diddy's expectations, which could involve more than. Considering the rumors about what supposedly happened to Notorious B.I.G. at Diddy's office, those fans might have a point. Chris isn't the only one who has claimed Diddy expected something in return before signing him. Music producer Rodney Jones Jr., also known as Nicky Lil Rod, filed a lawsuit alleging Diddy tried to pressure him into intimate acts. Rodney stated Diddy made advances multiple times, which he refused. The lawsuit also hinted that Diddy had relationships with a rapper from Philadelphia, likely Meek Mill, and connections with Nicki Minaj. What Lil Rod was getting at in his lawsuit was that he believed Diddy took advantage of Meek Mill's vulnerability early in his career, possibly expecting more than just professional collaboration.
They had a recording of Meek and Diddy
making love?
Ew. I don't know if it was love.
Okay, you have it? Let's hear it. What? Yo, wait a minute. Wait,
You didn't hear this?
No!
Now, Miran, what does that sound authentic?
It absolutely. Oh my God.
It's conceivable that Wahlberg faced similar expectations when he needed support to restart his career, but he stood firm. Mark had gone through a rebellious phase in his youth and experienced his share of dark times. He was looking for a label that aligned with his principles and vision. However, it seemed like Bad Boy Records wasn't willing to provide that. Even if they were, Mark wasn't willing to pay the alleged price, which reportedly included compromising himself in ways he wasn't comfortable with. The whole uproar started when Cassie Ventura sued Diddy for serious crimes, including physical abuse and subjecting her to inhumane treatment. According to the lawsuit filed in New York, Diddy allegedly forced Cassie to sleep with strangers and recorded these encounters to show to his friends for amusement. When the news of the lawsuit broke, Diddy strongly denied the allegations, maintaining his innocence. However, less than 24 hours after filing, both parties' lawyers reached a swift settlement to resolve the matter. While the specific terms were kept confidential, many speculated it involved a substantial payout, with some suggesting around $30 million. For many fans, Diddy settling out of court seemed like an admission of guilt. After all, why settle if he believed he could prove his innocence? On the other hand, Diddy's legal team emphasized that settling didn't imply any admission of wrongdoing on his part. Diddy's lawyer, Ben Braffman, then issued a statement explaining the settlement, clarifying that it wasn't an admission of guilt and didn't compromise his denial of the allegations. Braffman said, "Just so we're clear, a decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is in no way an admission of wrongdoing. Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. He is happy they got to a mutual settlement and wishes Miss Ventura the best." Cassie's lawsuit opened the floodgates for several women who came forward with similar allegations against Diddy. They claimed he assaulted them while they were under the influence. The first woman after Cassie was Joey Dickerson Neal, who said she met Diddy while she was a student. According to her lawsuit, after a date with Diddy, she went to his house where she was given drinks spiked with drugs. Unable to consent, she alleges Diddy took advantage of her and recorded the incident, which left her traumatized and led to her seeking help in rehab. Another woman, who chose to remain anonymous as Jane Doe, recounted meeting Diddy and R&B singer Aaron Hall at an industry event. She claims they were invited to Hall's apartment where they were given spiked drinks. Diddy allegedly assaulted her against her will, and then Hall also assaulted her afterward. Distraught, she fled the apartment, only to later learn her friend had a similar experience. Amidst the aftermath of these lawsuits, another woman sued Diddy, alleging he assaulted her when she was in high school. She claimed Andre Harrell, former president of Uptown Records, introduced her to Diddy, who then assaulted her after giving her spiked drinks. As part of her lawsuit, she provided photos showing her with Diddy and his crew. These allegations shed light on disturbing behavior in Diddy's world, leading many to condemn him. Despite his denials and claims that the women are seeking money, skepticism remains due to the consistency of their stories. Interestingly, these incidents allegedly occurred in the 90s, around the time Mark Wahlberg was considering a music comeback. It's possible Wahlberg knew about these stories, influencing his decision to focus on movies instead of returning to the music industry. In hindsight, Wahlberg's choice to leave behind the hip-hop scene seems justified given the serious allegations surrounding figures like Diddy. That's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching.